S.P.Jain, one of the most important institution in the country. I have been hearing about, even one of my very dear family person is from S.P.Jain, rather a topper. And I have seen the candidates from this institution are definitely most sought out candidates, creamish candidate. And on our channel, we have most of the inquiries about MBA, full-time MBA, and the difference between online and executive. And I'm so happy and lucky to invite one of a beautiful candidate, Bhargavi Agrawal, a BA economic graduate from Delhi University, one of my favorite program. And sometime we are going to cover that course also, Bhargavi, because I want people to know more from a candidate who has seen the reality of that course from Delhi University. I was surprised to see that she has done research analysis, she's an intern, she has done management trainee roles, and she has been a co-founder of an organization as well. And how you landed to S.P.Jain, apart from so many other institutions in India and across world, we would like to absolutely hear from you. So we welcome you from our heart, and people who are our followers, subscribers, they know that in case they want to know anything else from Bhargavi, post podcast, they can also mention in the comment section below, and they can easily follow up her on LinkedIn profile as well. Over to you, Bhargavi. We are very keen to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Sunita. Thank you for inviting me, and I am happy that I accepted your request as well. So, as you mentioned, I come from a background of business economics honors from Delhi University. It is a professional course offered by DU, for which you again need to give a entrance test. Then you used to go through PI and then GD as well, and that is when you get admission. That was my journey too. While introducing myself, I will also break 2 to 3 myths about MBA admissions. So, I completed my schooling in 2016. I joined BCom first in Delhi University. While
Okay.
doing my BCom, I realized that there is one other course that I might be more interested in. So that
Okay.
was this BBE. We call it Bachelor's in Business Economics.
Economics.
So DU offers 3 professional courses and they call the entrance test is called DU JAT. So BMS, BBE, and BFIA are 3 professional courses offered by them. Now, since my schooling, when I studied economics in 11th and 12th, and then when I was studying economics in my BCom as well, I realized that this is something, my economics is something which I'm very much interested in. I might not be too much interested in accounts, but I'm very much interested in economics. So, business economics was something which was offering me a very professional, perspective into economics. So during my BCom, I prepared for my entrance test. I cleared the entrance, then I did GD and PI, and then I went into BBE. Uh, this was therefore considered as a gap year for me in whatever institute I would have applied for MBA.
Okay.
So I want you to know that I had calls from Blackie as well. So I want people to understand that if there is a gap year, that is not a problem until and unless there is a genuine good reason for it. All
Okay.
right. If you say that I was wasting my time, it's obviously not a good thing. But they knew that I was studying. I
Sure.
knew that I am proud of my BCom as well. So I completed my first year there and I then went to BBE. Post BBE, so I completed my graduation in 2020. It is a 3-year course. So from 2017 to 2020, I completed my bachelor's in business economics. And then I wanted to pursue my education further. So post graduation was the only option, and I was very much looking forward to do an MBA. How I decided for an MBA, maybe we can come to it later.
Sure.
But I wanted to do an MBA, but I didn't want it to be done at 2020 because otherwise I would have been a COVID batch student. So
Okay.
therefore, I was thinking, what should I do? And before 2020, I had already done some of my internships, because of which I realized that I don't think going for a job or an internship would be a good time. Therefore, I discussed things with one of my friends, and then I realized that okay, there are many problems to be solved in the world, and that is when I started my own startup. We both together co-founded it. I did it for 2 years, and then again the COVID was over, and then I was back on my path of studying. I prepared for CAT, I gave CAT, and then I was admitted to SPJIMR in 2022. Now, the
Okay.
catch here again was people again think that you have completed your graduation And then again, there was a 2-year gap because I joined SP at 2022,
Two.
but
Yeah.
I completed my graduation in 2020.
2020.
So people would have considered 2 years gap, right? So again, there is a mentality that I, as an admission seeker, would have that the college might not be interested in giving me admission because my this year would again be considered as a gap year. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what happens whenever you apply to any MBA institute? You need to submit your proof of work ex.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the people who are into corporates, they generally submit their salary slip to show that I was employed full time. But when I have my own startup, I was not withdrawing any salary. So I had no salary slip to submit. And salary slip is generally one thing that they always ask. So I didn't submit anything. I showed it as my gap year again. And yet I had calls from Blackie and other institutes as well. So I had all calls from many, not all Blackies I had, but I had many of them. I would prefer not to name them, and I had many other tier one institutes, right? So again, another myth that we have as admission seeker is if I have a admission gap, I might not be the college's first preference,
Sure.
right? So I would like my listeners to understand that if you know that whatever you have done was the right decision as per you, I don't think you should be fearing whatever you have decided to do. You should mention it that yes, there was a gap year. When you interview with the college, then you might prefer mentioning that I took a gap year because this was the reason, and this is what I did during my gap year. Some people might prefer to hone a new skill. They are doing some course online. Some people are trying to do an internship to figure out in which field do they want to do the MBA. So it's completely fine, but you should be proud of your own decisions. That is what a B school would be looking forward to, if whatever decisions you have made were those the right choice as per you. So
Yeah.
this is it. Yeah.
Sure. I think I would
Anything
like
that
to reflect back because, this is a very, very important aspect being on the other side of the table as an interviewer. I have always shared with people how you use that particular space post your
correct?
graduation and the time between your graduation and post graduation, whether you were upgrading yourself, whether you were upskilling yourself, or whether you were exploring different job roles as an intern, as a management trainee, or you even tried your hand on your own internship. It is very important that how fruitfully and positively you are using that time, and it is
Very
equally
true.
important that how confident you are presenting it to the people across the table, because your own honesty and integrity really matters in those 2 years as well. And yes, I personally recommend to all the students what Bhargavi is also sharing. I always tell people that do some work, whether it's an internship or a project, because then you are very sorted with MBA, which MBA you want to choose, which specialization you want to go ahead with, because you have already worked into that particular area. And by that time, you know your interest. But I'm also thrilled to know, Bhargavi, that you were so sure that even if you are not interested in accounts, you have that basic instinct within your heart that you are very close or economics is very close to you. That's a very important awareness at that point of time, because I have seen so many candidates changing their streams after UG. And in my career I have roughly placed 21 to 22 MBA batches, and even after MBA people are not sure that whether they have chosen the right specialization. So if you had that awareness and if you have taken that call, it's such a conscious and aware call. I would definitely would like to congratulate you that at early stage of your education and career you were very sorted that you are meant for economics background. So hats off to you for
Thank you
thinking
so
so
much,
clearly for
Sunita.
yourself. So after that, how you landed to S.P.Jain?
Sure. I would go a bit backwards, and
Sure.
I'll tell you how the process goes. So you give CAT in November, and then by the January, generally the first week the results are out, and similarly the forms or the calls for the colleges are out as well. So before giving your CAT, generally the forms of colleges you apply to the colleges, and then after the CAT result, they release their own results. The colleges give you calls. So that is when in January I started receiving my calls one by one. There were many top tier
Other
colleges.
institutes. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And then for SPJIN, there are two types of calls. There
Okay.
is one profile based calls, then there is CAT score based calls.
Okay.
For the profile based calls, what they do is I got the CAT score based calls. I didn't get the profile based calls. So for the profile based calls, What SP checks is what is your work ex, what is your previous UG college. So every B school will have a list of UG colleges, and they generally rank them as tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Your UG college could be a tier 1 college, but in the list of B schools, it could be tier 2. So
Okay.
they have their own criterias on which they rank. And then some weightage is given to your UG college. Some weightage is given to the field of your work ex. Some weightage is given to the undergraduate program that you had. And based on that, profile calls are sent. So profile calls, as the name says it, it is based on your own profile. CAT score is not checked there to give a call, but the basic minimum hygiene that SP does to before releasing the profile calls is, did you at least meet the minimum eligibility criteria of CAT score? Now,
Okay.
let's say your profile is 100% good, but you got, let's say, 70% in CAT, so you might not get a call. Okay, I
Okay.
don't know what is the threshold for CAT, minimum threshold for CAT is there, but they do the hygiene check with the CAT. So all the calls, be it profile based or be it CAT score based, are released after the CAT results are out.
Okay.
Now, the people who get profile based calls are interviewed first because, CAT score based screening takes time. So the profile based people generally start getting calls very early. They generally get it in January, and in the early Feb, the interviews with the profile based calls are done. Earlier, for I guess 2 years, SP did online interviews. But later, 2021 and 2022, they gave an option that you can select for an online interview or you can come on the campus. I
Okay.
guess this year it was compulsory that you have to be physically present there.
So,
So S.P.Jain has their offices, I would say not offices, but the campuses, small campuses just for interview or workshop or seminar purposes in different metro cities. So if,
okay.
let's say, you belong from MP, you might need to come to Bombay for interviewing. If you belong from Delhi, then it has a campus in Delhi itself
Hmm.
for interview. So you might need to go there. This is how the process goes. So I had my interview in mid-February.
Okay.
I guess on 18th of February, if I remember correctly, is when I had my interview. And then they released the results in around March second half. And then in the June, in June, mid-June, the program starts. Before June, you go through all. SPGen takes care of everything, each and everything. They will give you how to reach at SPJIMR when you land in Bombay. They give you the roadmap, what you need to say, what you need not to say to the auto rickshaws. Then they also tell you the fee structure is also being given. If you are coming to hostel, what all things you need to bring versus what all things that we all will provide. So all these things are very well given by SPJIMR. Now, coming to the decision why I chose SP. I had calls from many good colleges. I converted those colleges as well. So after conversion, when I had to make some final decision, I was struck for three colleges. One was SP and two were from Blackie. Now, fortunately, during one of my family gathering, I found two of my far cousins who belonged from two different colleges from Blackie. And I went to them and I asked that I'm sure that I want a finance specialization. Now, and I have these three colleges. Which one should I select? So the reason for selecting SP was number one, it has a very it uses its leverage of being in Bombay very well. Now, SP being in Bombay provides very good companies for finance, right? And then the faculty there at SP is very much famous for marketing and finance specializations.
Okay.
So that is when they said ki if you need to understand that SP does not have a very big campus, just like we have in other IMs. So the campus, it's called Bhavan's campus, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan's campus it is. And we have different colleges there. We have a junior college. As we know that in Bombay, we don't have 11th and 12th class. It starts with junior college after 10th. So it has junior college. It has a BTech college also there, and it has a big famous school also in the campus. So the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan campus is actually very famous campus in whole Bombay. The BTech college and the junior college there is the Tier 1 college of Bombay. So the B school, SP, is not known much because people come from outside of the Bombay to study there. But the junior college and the BTech college is where the generally Bombay students form the majority of the population. So it is
Oh,
very much well known by normal Bhavan's college. So we don't have a very, very big, lavish campus. We don't have that. So my cousins told me that if you are thinking that you want to live a campus life, then you might want to miss on to S.P.Jain because it does not provide you the campus life very well. There are other colleges that you have for campus life then. But if you want for sure that you have to have a good corporate life after that, you want to have a good finance career after that, you want to study deep into finance, then go to SP. SP very well utilizes its leverage of being in Bombay.
Sure.
That is when I made my decision, and I am very much proud to say that my decision was fruitful. I'm happy with whatever I studied. Um, about the studies a bit, I actually realized that my cousin was right because SP is known as one of the most rigorous college academically when you are there. So I'm Lucknow and SP. They are being considered at par for being as rigorous academically as it can be. So yes, I believe that things were very well academically there. We were taught things in deep. We were given exposures in different ways, whatever possible. We can talk about it later. But yes, this is how I chose SP and my journey of reaching to SP.
Sure. So I am aware about the campus in Mumbai, which is a flagship campus, and then I'm also aware about their Delhi NCR. So you shared what all other locations they have the campus?
They have in metros. They have in Bangalore as well. I guess they have in Kolkata as well.
Okay.
All of them I might not remember, but they have all in metro cities.
4 to 5 maybe. Okay. I would
Yes.
like to talk bit more about the profile and the CAT. There are two bifurcation. But you were also working. I mean, you were working as an intern. You were a co-founder, so you already had a working profile. But still, it was being considered into CAT. You shared. So how
Yes.
much was
Yes.
your CAT score?
My CAT score was 98.7, if I remember correctly. 98.7 percentile I had.
Okay.
And the people whom I met there, they varied from 97 to 99 plus.
Okay.
And I won't say that the people who have a 99 plus percentile will always get a profile call. There
Oh,
are people who have 97 percentile also, they got a profile call. Um, so the bifurcation is major for CAT people. It is, so I tell you how it goes actually. You have, first of all, you have 11th and 12th class marks. Some weightage is given to your 10th class marks, some weightage is given to your 12th class marks. That whatever weightage is being given, a person can never have access to it. It is a very internal thing. Even
true.
me as a student would not know. And every B school has it. So 10th class marks are given some percentage, 12th class has some weightage. Then what tier your UG college fits in, that has some percentage. What was your course there? That has some percent. What was your graduation percentage? So
Okay.
that also has a weightage. What company were you working with? If that company, I don't think so that they would have it, but I think that, I mean, I believe that they would be having it. I don't
Some
think they
weightage.
should
Maybe
have
if
it
you're
though.
working in 500 Fortune companies or something like that,
Yes.
some weightage. Yeah.
Yes, yes. That, what was your profile there? What work were you doing? So because they're looking at diversity factor also, say they might, for example, they might give a higher weightage to a person who is coming from an architecture profile. Okay, someone who is coming from psychological profile, maybe an anthropologist. Okay, so because they want diversity, so based on that diversity factor related to your work you might have a weightage. So considering that whatever weightage you had, uh, they have a threshold for if I finally calculate the a score based on the weightages that I have given, and if this score is beyond a certain threshold, I'll give this person a profile based call. I
Sure.
might not have fallen here. So these people get a profile based calls, but before releasing these profile based calls, they do a hygiene check with their CAT score.
CAT
And then
score.
the profile based calls are released. Yes.
Mm.
And for the CAT score, what happens? These are the people who have got profile based calls. These are the people who I feel are good, but let's give some weightage to their CAT score. So now they give weightage to their CAT score, and based on that CAT score, we have moved upwards now. So now
Okay.
we get calls on the CAT score based calls. These are.
Sure. But
This is
either
how
ways, I
it
would
goes.
like to tell the listeners and the followers that I am sure S.P.Jain must be considering anything above 95, especially in the CAT region. And profile is definitely, if you have a very strong academic background, they are not just going to see your UG, but you need to have a consistent, beautiful,
Yes.
top class academic record along with a top class profile, extremely beautiful organizations and prestigious profiles. I'm sure they are going to land into that category because they have to maintain the criteria and the kind of people they are giving the admission. So, apart from shortlisting, you also went through some GD and interview process?
Yes, yes. So first of all, GD does not happen at SP. We instead have a group interview. So every college will take a personal interview. SPJIN has group interview.
Group
So you
interview.
come to the campus, whichever campus you are going to be, Delhi or Bangalore or Bombay. You go to the campus, you first write your VAT, which is written ability test, and post your VAT after half an hour break or so. You go for the GI1, which is group interview one. You complete your group interview one, a shortlisting is done. If you are being shortlisted, then you go for group interview two, and it is done.
Okay,
This is how it happens. Yeah. So GI1, what does it mean for GI, and what is the difference between GI1 and GI2?
sure.
If you would want to talk about VAT, I don't think it's different from any other B school. We generally take a topic which we expect everyone to be aware of. See, if you are applying for a B school, if you are going for an MBA, you need to be aware of the things happening around you. For example, VAT for this year so VAT topics vary from batch to batch.
Batch
So
to batch. Okay,
because obviously if I have interviewed today, the VAT topic for me would be different from from whoever has a VAT tomorrow, right? Because otherwise the topics could be shared. Yeah. So you should be aware about AI, chat GPT, changes happening in financial sector, maybe in general, because when VAT happens, it is March or February, and we get our, all budgets during that time. So you should be aware of the things, what is happening around. So VAT is always about general opinion that a person should have of a topic that is happening, of something that is happening in daily lives. Now coming to GI, group interviews are, since as the name says, maximum you are five people, the five interviewees, and the
okay,
panel generally consists of 3 to 4 people. Now, the
okay,
panelist could be the professors from the college or the alumni,
okay,
okay, or some professional from the industry as well, which is
sure.
very unlikely. But these two people, mainly the professors currently there, the former professors, and the alumni. This is a very common panel composition. Coming to the interviewees are not all people would be from finance. It is generally a mix. It is again very, very highly unlikely that all the people will belong from same specializations, because the whole reason of a group interview means that you bring different perspectives. So when
Sure.
you want to bring different perspectives, you have to have people from different specializations. Now,
Okay.
before that, I would just like to go a step back. S.P.Jain is also known for one thing, that when we are applying to SPJIMR in, I guess, during Octobers and Septembers before giving CAT, you have to select your specialization beforehand.
Oh,
This is
okay.
something which keeps SP different from all other B schools. So we have to choose a specialization beforehand, that where do I want to go during my second year. First year would be common, but for second year you will start your specializations, but you need to decide which specialization do you want to beforehand. So therefore, different people from different specializations in a group interview. Now, uh, it is generally 30 to 45 minutes that they take for completing one round of group interview. Now, the interview goes around your profile and your knowledge or skills, and your work ex could be. Okay. SP Jain is known for its values and principles. If you ask anyone who is an SP alum, the person can very openly will tell you that we are actually known for our ethics and values and principles. We are being taught values also as the part of our curriculum. So they always check your values as well. What has been my value system? So therefore, GI2 is always about my values.
Okay.
It is all about how am I as a person, my behavior in different situations, how I handle different situations. Will I take my will I keep my values first, or will I push my values if there is a problem, if there is a situation of concern? So GI1 is all about your skills, your knowledge related to the field that you are applying to, your general knowledge, how do you interact with people. It is about that, GI1. GI2 is always about you as a person. So
Okay.
there, the panelists try to analyze, do you fit in the value wage system of the college? Do you prefer being a person with principles if a problem arises? For example, there is something happening in your organization which might compromise your own values. So will you go with the flow or will you stand for it? If you are standing for it, if you are standing against someone, how are you going to handle the situation? For example, if you are standing against a person who is very elder in your organization, or maybe elder by age as well, how are you going to talk to the person? How are you going to handle the problem? Will you be aggressive, or will you be very affirmative in a very polite manner? So how do you handle the situation? So values are very much genuinely very much ingrained in SP, the professors as well. When the how do we say, the aura of SP is very polite, very ethical, very empathetic. So they want people who maintain these, aura and environment of SP. They do not want toxic people for obvious reasons. So that is the reason SP always make sure that one group interview is being given completely for this purpose, and that also again goes for 40 to 45 minutes.
Okay, and I'm, really amazed to know that for the first time, I'm being exposed to the fact that you have to decide your specialization beforehand. That means they take very well sorted candidates. And thank you for
Yes,
sharing that they have two group interviews. So I am sure these two factors are going to make S.P.Jain absolutely different from the other institution. Deciding your specialization, and there are two group interviews. And yes, the first interview is about what I felt after listening to you is about the environment, your knowledge, your awareness. And group two, the interview is about who you are. That means moving from the
yes,
external world to the internal world, your
yes.
with what you are made up of, your belief system, your values, your motivations. So I wanted to have a little bit of more information on VAT, because this is a very important query which I'm sure is going to come up. When you talk about written ability test, how is the structure of that test? You have to write, there are subjective questions, there are objective questions, you are supposed to write an essay also, or there are general questions on various GK questions, current affairs, political, international, because this is very important for the viewers to know that how they have to prepare for VAT.
Yeah, all right. So VAT is generally common for each and every B school. This is what I believe and what I have knowledge from other peers of mine who belong from different institutions. VAT is normally a topic given to you and you have to write an essay on it. It is just like if you have been in class 10th, 11th, 12th, you generally write a paragraph explaining things. It is simply that. So for example, if I want to say that AI is emerging and it might compromise the way we work. All right, and this is the topic given, and then what are your opinions? Or what do you think? And then you have to write an essay. Now, here I would like to share my personal learnings if how should we write VAT and how a B school would want a person to write VAT. We need, whenever we are doing something, either we are interviewing with the B school, either we are interviewing with the company, or we are writing VAT or doing anything, we need to understand the mentality of the person sitting opposite to us. So here we have B school opposite to us who is trying to analyze whatever we have written in our VAT. Now what that institute might want from us is this: first of all, you should have that knowledge that whatever is happening around the world. So you second, you should have your own opinion. Third, you should also know that if you have an opinion, how will it impact the world if this is being implemented actually? All right. So how I suggest the people to go forward with the VAT is: first, whatever the topic is being given. This was my hack, and I think it worked for me. And I have shared this information with my peers as well, and they have worked for them as well. Whenever a topic is given, generally I suggest picking up some keywords from that topic. So let's say AI, compromising of the values, and taking up the job. So these are the three words that the topic itself says. So pick these three key terms there from there, and make sure that you formulate your first paragraph of the essay around these terms, because this is the soul of the topic now, right? Don't sway away from the topic that something else is being asked and something else you're writing. So there is just one essay that you need to write, nothing else. So you go about these you talk about these topics, that what does these topic mean in actual life. Also, what they expect is this is something that when I got admission into SP, when we used to go for exams and our teachers used to give some guidelines, they have told us that this is what we generally a person would expect from you is the definition. Not every time can people know whatever you are trying to explain. So, for example, if there is AI written in the topic, you might want to explain what AI means as per you. All right. So you might want to explain 2 to 3 things there, talk about things, what is happening around, then go to the crux of the topic if this is wrong or this is right. If you have, according to you, if part A is correct, mention it that these are the pros of the topic, these are the cons of this thing, this is my opinion, this is what we should do. And if the topic that I talked about, it does not ask for a solution. But if, let's say, a topic asks for a solution, you should actually give a short term, a medium term, and a long term solution. This is what an MBA would do. This is what a well-educated person would do. So a short-term, medium-term, long-term solution is being preferred giving. So you should always divide your essay into 3 minimum paragraphs, 3 parts, which should be visible in different 3 paragraphs, and it can go to 4. This is how the structure of VAT should be. And then how is it done is in SP, I don't know about other institutes. In SP, at least, it is done it is a pen and paper based VAT. So you come to the campus, a topic is being given to you, you take the topic and you write whatever your answer is on the paper. Now this tells 2 things. First, when you are typing something, right, you can actually go back and edit it. For example, for other B schools, when I wrote VAT, it was online. For me, it was online. Even the VAT for SP also was online for me because it was in 2022 when I wrote. COVID had just ended and I had opted for online interview. We had an option then. I don't think they have an option now. So I did my VAT online. So when you are writing online, you can actually go back and edit. But when it is pen and paper, you have to have clarity of thought, right? You cannot
True.
read, you cannot go back
And cut
there
and
when write it
modify
again with
what
the
you've
pen.
written. Yeah.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct, yes. So this is something which I believe is a good part to analyze if you have a good thought process flow. This is one. Secondly, when you are writing and you suddenly realize, oh my God, the deadline is near now. People generally, tend to change their handwriting in the hurry. They miss out some important things, and they always, if they are on a very so second paragraph is generally considered the most important part of the VAT.
Mm-hmm.
So when they realize, oh my God, only 2 minutes are left, I have not come to the ending, they drop it from here because they think ending is more important. So they go to the ending.
Okay.
They go
Okay.
to the ending and they start writing the ending paragraph without realizing that the middle part was the most important part. If I remember correctly, if it varies from college to college, the timing of VAT. Sometimes it is 20 minutes, sometimes it is 15 minutes. For some colleges, I remember giving 30 minutes as well. I don't I guess for me, the timing for VAT for SP was 20 minutes. It would have changed in the now because it is pen and paper. So they would be giving you a bit more time. If I remember correctly, it was 30 minutes. I am not sure. I might need to ask and maybe I'll tell you
Sure.
this later.
Sure.
So this is what happens in VAT. It's just one topic and you have to write a essay.
So for one topic is given to all the students in that particular room.
No.
Okay.
So it is like a lottery system. You
Oh,
have a list of topics written on strip of paper. They are put in a bowl. You come and then you take the paper. I mean, either the person there can give you one strip. So different people will have different
different
topics.
topics. Okay. And if you
Yes.
remember by any chance, how many people were there when you were giving that? Acha, you did it online.
No, I did it online. But the people who were there should be minimum of 80 people.
80 people. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
and there
again a
should
good
be,
number.
I believe, yes, for one batch, there is eight. No, by what I mean is, so there is a slot that is being given to you. So let's say if you have a VAT slot of 10 a.m., so that has 80 people. Then another VAT slot would be, let's say, 11 a.m., another 80 to 100 people. This is
Okay.
how it goes. SP has increased its intake of people. In our batch, we had around 200 odd people in PGDM. Then in our batch itself, they later introduced PGDM in business management. We didn't have general management as our specialization. It was only finance, marketing, information management, and operations and supply chain. So we had these four specializations. General management was not there. So later they introduced it by the name of business management. So the intake increased and our total number of people went to 292. For this year, I guess it's 360 because they
Okay.
have increased the number of people in all the specializations, including BM. So this time it is 360, and I guess it is going to be 360 now onwards. So when the number of people increase, the number of people coming for one batch in VAT will also increase.
Sure,
This
sure,
is how it works.
sure. We are so thankful for sharing not just the hack, but I think our listeners would appreciate and acknowledge that you have given complete strategy how you have to clear that and how you are going to appear for 2 group interviews. I think this is for the first time somebody has shared such detailed insight on VAT and interview process related to S.P.Jain. And I'm so thankful for sharing it in such detailed way, Bhargavi. I would like to continue the remaining part of the information in the second podcast. So I would request all of you to stay tuned for the second part, wherein I request Bhargavi to share about specializations more, how she was sorted that she has to take that specialization, the fee structure, the collaborations S.P.Jain has for your upliftment and grooming, and then more about placements, the batch size, the exam pattern, the questions, because these are the areas I'm sure people are going to pour in. So I want to complete all that in the second part, which is just after this particular podcast. So stay tuned. Thank you so much and see you soon again on the second part, Bhargavi.
Thank you so much, Sunita. I really enjoyed talking to you today.
Thank you so much. We shall be recording soon. All of you, please stay
Sure.
tuned. And in case you have any other queries, you can keep dropping in the comment section below. See you soon. Thank you so much. Thank you.